Let's go over Star Wars Episode 9, the final film of the Skywalker saga and the sequel trilogy alike. This is Mike Zero here. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, as you all know, Episode 9 is currently in its principal photography stage, and it will be going through this phase all the way up until February of 2019. So far, we are ahead of schedule regardless of some of the adjustments to the script and the rewrites here and there that thankfully haven't delayed any filming for the second and third acts of the film, which is what they are up to right now. The first act of the movie is all done, and apparently some reshoots are to take place in the near future for the first act that aren't too major, which is good to know as well. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set designs, the set leaks, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. Now, one of which, alright, we will be getting on the subject of both Mark Hamill and Daisy Ridley. A lot of people have been wondering exactly what's in store for the character of Luke Skywalker by J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio, and, well, there are a couple of details here that could very well point us in a certain direction as to what Mark Hamill will be doing for a scene with Daisy Ridley in Episode 9. Now, specifically, both Mark Hamill and Daisy Ridley will be shooting a scene during the first week of November. One of the sets being built for both Hamill and Ridley is described as a large cave with teal-colored grass. Alright, so that's something that I haven't seen on film before. Some blue screens will be set up for Mark Hamill in front of Ridley. It's being constructed at Pinewood. The interior of this set has ancient scriptures on the rocky walls that are hooked up to LED lights to make them glow. The scene is being described as a pivotal moment in Episode 9 and is for the third act of the film. So, for this scene between both Ridley and Hamill, this is going to take place in the third act of the movie that will begin shooting in early November, which is very interesting for sure. That means they're going to begin the third act at the very earliest, alright? At earliest in November is when they'll start doing the ending sequences of Episode 9. It could be that they're shooting all out of order, where they're doing Act 3 right now, and then Act 2 as we go into January and February. Who knows? But looking at Episode 9 here, this sequence in a cave with that teal-colored grass, I'm not quite sure if that's a thing in Star Wars lore or Star Wars Legends or EU material. Not quite sure about that as to what planet we could be on here with both Luke Skywalker and Rey, especially the fact that we are inside of a cave with these ancient writings on the walls that actually illuminate, and that's raising another question for sure. Is this yet again another Jedi temple, perhaps, where that Rey goes to, and then that's where Luke Skywalker appears? Or could it maybe be that Luke Skywalker is going to guide Rey through our story from temple to temple, gaining more knowledge about the Jedi themselves? Now, that's another question for sure. Exactly where will Rey stand by the time Episode 9 arrives? We don't really know exactly how long it's to take place after the events of The Last Jedi. It's heavily rumored that it's going to be 5 years. 5 years after the events of Episode 9, where Kylo Ren has been ruling the galaxy for quite some time now, and a large portion of the galaxy actually views him as a good leader, and that the Resistance, you know, they're honestly questioning themselves as to why they are even fighting. Meanwhile, the other half of the Resistance is actually fighting against the First Order regardless. So, looking at Luke Skywalker as a character, could this very well be a Force Ghost sequence? Now, there's no confirmation on this. There are hints, however, of the blue screens being set up only for Hamill. No mention of blue screens for Ridley. Now, this is, of course, to be used in order to use chroma key, in which they're able to replace the background of Mark Hamill or just insert him in a different environment and lower the opacity and add in some hues, and boom, you got a Force Ghost, right? So it could very well be that. That, I think, is the big hint, the fact that they are using blue screens, which, you know, same exact thing as green screens, just different color. It's used for chroma key, and they use it in a lot of sequences that need CGI. And I think that this is most definitely a Force Ghost sequence between both Luke and Rey inside some kind of ancient structure. It's inside of a cave, yes, so it's a natural thing, but there are ancient writings inside there. An original concept for The Last Jedi that never made it to the finalized version of the movie inside of the Force tree that we saw. Now, that's interesting for sure. Exactly where are we, right? Is this quite possibly a connection to the Wills, or could it be a connection to, you know, the first set of Jedi throughout the entire galaxy? I'm not quite sure. We really don't know exactly where Episode 9 is going for the character of Luke and Rey, but my guess would be is that this is most definitely a Force Ghost scene inside of a cave with these ancient writings, and maybe perhaps Luke Skywalker is translating them to Rey. Hence, you know, kind of teaching her and giving her some lessons. Maybe this is her final lesson to becoming a Jedi for all we know, even though I think it's a little fast for Rey. I think that they should have started this right from Episode 7, and have it progressive, right? Make it a progressive thing from Episode 7 to 9. I just found the teachings in Episode 8, The Last Jedi, to be way too short. I don't even think she got that much of training at all. But yeah, guys, I would love to hear your input below in the comments section. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.